Hey guys, this is Omar from Shout Your Blessings. Welcome. Today we have another special guest in the studio, Miss Raquel Mendez. She's going to be telling you her story. Hey, so Raquel, who is Raquel?
So I'm Raquel.
Right, Raquel.
Raquel.
Yeah, just basically tell our audience about who you are, what you do, you know.
Okay. I'm Raquel. I'm 27 years old. I grew up in Brixton, South London.
Okay.
I have a younger sibling, a younger brother. I have a daughter. I'm currently a courier, and I'm studying psychology in university right now.
So you must be pretty busy then.
Yeah, I'm very busy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I feel privileged to be able to have you on the show.
Yeah.
So, you know what? Let's start. Tell me about your childhood.
So childhood. I was brought up by my grandma, my nan, and my auntie. My mum had schizophrenia, so I knew who she was, but she didn't actively live with me. I had obviously a little brother as well. Childhood was really good up until the age of 9. So I had a really good childhood. I did used to see my mum have like episodes of like schizophrenia when they have like really like sort of episodes, and you know she'll be quite erratic and she would hallucinate and stuff like that. So I'll see glimpses of that growing up, but my nan tried her best to kind of shield me from that. But up until the age of my mum passed at 9, so.
How old are you?
I was 9 when she passed.
9.
Yeah, 9 years old. Yeah.
That's young.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, how did that affect you? I mean, you know. Just...
Do you know what? Because I knew my mum, but I didn't know her really as a mother. Because she had schizophrenia, she was not really your mum that's, you know, looks after you, stays, you know, she's always there. So it was still a shock, because it's like, okay, my mum, I always knew her as mum. I never called my nan mum, I called her nan, and I knew she was my mum, but it wasn't such a big thing for me because I just always knew she was unwell, and as also there was a sense of embarrassment there as well because of when she used to have her episodes. I used to feel quite embarrassed. So at that stage of 9, it wasn't such a big effect for me, but it affected my nan really badly, which then affected our dynamics of the household. So things really got strange from then, because my nan became someone very overprotective because of my mum's passing, and she was grieving as well, so there was a lot of crying, and it changed the whole dynamic of the house. So my nan went from being sort of this nan which I really got on with and she was fun, to becoming someone I didn't really like anymore. So it became quite difficult at home.
Do you think she blamed you in any way, or you was a burden to her? Or
I don't think she was. I was a burden. I think maybe she could have, looking back on it, she might have could see my mum in me in certain aspects, and I think she felt pressure as well to kind of do the best. But at the same time, she needed to process it. She needed some form of counselling and stuff, which she wasn't getting. So she was just kind of processing it through just getting by, rather than actually getting professional help, which I think she probably needed. Yeah.
So there was no. So even though might have been sort of resources you could have gone to, your doctor or you know, but nothing was done. She didn't want to. Or
no, because my auntie, who is my mum's younger sister, who lived there, also had schizophrenia, and my nan was her carer, and she had bipolar. So it was kind of she was sort of this. She had to be strong, so she couldn't. I don't feel she felt she could show any weaknesses, because he felt, okay, if she does, maybe it could look like they might take children away. They might, you know, something might happen with my auntie. So that's why she kind of just put up this big kind of shield, like, I'm okay, but she wasn't okay. And the outside world, everyone could see she's this strong woman. You lost your daughter, you've got your grandchildren, and she'll put on this happy face and make everyone laugh. But inside the house, it was a very different dynamic, and it was really difficult for us.
Well, it must be difficult for you. I mean,
Yeah.
and your sibling.
Yeah.
So you're saying, so not only your mum, but her sister, your aunt,
Yeah.
both had schizophrenia.
Schizophrenia, yeah.
I mean, how's that? I mean, also, how does that happen? I mean, I don't know a lot about it, but
yeah.
you know.
So it's not something you can really catch with mental health. It's your genes, so there's triggers. So I think with my mum, when she got pregnant with me at 17, so I think the trigger of that, I think it was like it's in your genetics, and then I think that kind of just triggered her, you know, having to hide it. Kind of, she was hiding it from my mum. From my nan, sorry. She was hiding it from her, and I think also she got involved with sort of the wrong crowd, and there was like a bit of a drug influence as well, which was another trigger, and that caused her, while she was pregnant with me, to kind of start having these sort of hallucinations and stuff. So it started off with her being pregnant with me. Prior to that, she was okay, but I think when she got kind of involved with the wrong crowd and stuff, that just triggered her.
So this is a long time ago.
Yeah,
obviously,
it's a long time
you're
ago.
27, like you're 9. I mean, you know, during those times, did you ever feel like threatened? Did you feel like, well, I mean, well, at 9, it's difficult for a 9-year-old to articulate how they would feel.
Yeah.
But you know, did you feel, I mean, vulnerable? Because you were vulnerable. Did you feel vulnerable?
So at that time, yes, but I don't think in my head, I would know the words to kind of describe it as vulnerable. But I think what happened from the age of 9, I closed off completely. So in terms of, academically, I went blank. And that's the best way. I didn't know that's what happened. I don't think anyone around me knew what was happening, because I was still just going through school, doing okay. So I wasn't doing exceptionally well, and I wasn't doing really badly, other than maths. I wasn't too good at maths, but I was going through, so no one could pick up on it. But I knew I was kind of just had this sort of blankness about me, and I think it was a coping mechanism to my mum passing. So I was really blank, and also because of how my nan, in the house, my nan would really be emotional, so she would cry a lot, and if you ever mentioned anything to do with my mum, so it was kind of a thing where I can't really express these feelings, because if I say anything, it makes her cry, and there's no one I could really talk to about it. Obviously, my aunt had schizophrenia, and she was kind of more under my nan's wing as well. So it was kind of just a close off. So really, and I would go, and also for me, because the school, in primary school, the teachers and everyone knew that my mum passed, I didn't like that. I didn't like how they made me feel, because I was like the special child. Yeah, I was really, and I didn't like that. So through primary school, up from year 4, I was pretty much blank, I would say. I was blank until I went to secondary school. And what I did in secondary school, I didn't tell no one. Because I went to, my nan made me go to a school where there was no one from my primary school. So I was the only one. So I was like, I'm going to have a fresh start, and I'm not going to let anyone know that I don't have a mum. And because I want to be treated for Raquel, and I don't want to be treated as the child that lost their mum. I just want to be like everyone else. So I went to secondary school with a fresh start, but I still had that sort of blankness.
You're still carrying it. It doesn't matter what facade you put on, you're still carrying it. So,
exactly.
And I can imagine, it's a strain.
Yeah.
It would have been a strain. So you're obviously going to school. You made new friends. And but you're still carrying that baggage. So, and there's nothing you can shift. I mean, like losing your mum. I mean, I know adults who lose their mother and they can't recover. So at your age, I mean, sorry, not being 9 and losing a parent, I mean, it's that in itself is devastating, and that in itself comes with a lot of trauma, which really you should have had some help with that. Most definitely. And obviously your nan and should have had help as well. I mean, she would have that would have definitely allowed her to actually I can't say care for you better, because I don't know how she cared for you, but it would definitely allowed her, it would have made her life easier, made her able to cope more and maybe be more accepting of the situation that you were in.
Yeah.
I think. So, Karen, so you're in school now. You're a teenager in school.
So secondary school, yeah. So I went to secondary school, and that's when now the rebel. I was rebelling with my nan. So from secondary school, it was like I've got this fresh start in secondary school. I've met great friends. I've got a good friendship group, and I'm like it's like my nan now is a villain to me.
Okay.
She's a villain now. Pretty much, yes. Because school was the place where I had an outlet in a way. I don't think my friends knew that because they just thought I didn't speak about home life. It was just like, you know, we all kind of have our own issues going on, but when we come to school, we're just laughing, we're being naughty, sort of thing. I was still quite good. I wasn't bad, but when I was with my friends, we were just naughty. We'd do naughty things and stuff like that. But I would never go home, so I was always late. I was always late home because I didn't want to go. I was having so much fun, and this was my outlet, and I don't have to come home to just all my nan just talking about my mum, because that's all my nan will talk about is just the past. He was like living in the past. So coming out of that I don't have to hear about that. So I was always late, always in trouble with my nan, mainly always in trouble, but I had an outlet. So school was just my outlet. So I loved going to school, literally. I just loved going to school because I got away from that trouble, that life that was at home, and the grief that my nan was going through.
Okay, so you said like you rebelled against your nan and she became the villain.
Yeah.
Was this because basically you went through a period of where you felt that you were, I can't say ill-treated, but no, you were, I don't know how can I put it, obviously you were a victim.
Yeah.
Yeah. To me it sounds like you was a victim, but there was no one there to help you, protect you, to you know. So do you think this is your chance, like, well, now I'm gonna get it back, I'm gonna show her? Or is it just a case of, well, it's just freedom, I just don't want to do that anymore? What do you think that was?
Yeah, I think it was just a sense of freedom. Like, I've got this new sense of freedom, because primary school my nan was taking me to school, you know, picking me up, whereas secondary school became I'm going by myself on a bus, because primary school was just around the corner. I'm now going on a bus. It's new, it's much more further. I have excuses to make to her as well, that the bus was late, or this is why I'm late, when really that's not the case. I just didn't want to come home. And yeah, I do feel like, looking back, at the time I didn't think I was rebelling, but looking back I feel like I was rebelling, but it was a deeper rooted thing. It was because of the trauma of what I've went through, losing my mum, and also what I was going through in sense of not being abused in the sense of maybe physically. I was fed all the time. My nan always fed me. I was clothed properly. I had everything that I needed, but I didn't have that. I was maybe neglected emotionally in the sense of me having that emotional support there for me losing my mum. So I don't think that was there, because my nan couldn't deal with it. She couldn't, because she needed that emotional support, so she had that neglect. So we was getting, don't know how my brother feels, but I know definitely I felt emotionally neglected in the sense of I don't have anyone I can talk to about this, because my nan is always talking to us about it.
Sure.
And it's almost in a sense that we were her counsellors, me, my brother, not so much my brother, but me and my auntie, because we was hearing it all the time. It's like we're eating dinner, we're talking about my mum.
I mean, that's just,
it was hard.
That is emotionally draining.
Yes.
I mean, every day. That's emotionally draining.
Yeah.
And for a young person.
Yeah.
I mean, you definitely needed support. Whether it be a social worker, whether it be a doctor, whether it be a psychiatrist. Whether, you know, you just needed that.
Yeah.
And, I'm sorry you didn't get it. Like when at that point. But okay, so look, you're in school, you're rebelling. How was your school? Obviously you had a great time at school.
Yeah.
I mean, how were your grades at school?
Grades were average, and that was to do with that blankness. So that's the best way to describe it. So it was like I would do enough to get average grades. So I got average grades in schools, like C's and B's.
Sure.
So and that's because I knew I knew in my back of my head I got to get these 5 A to C's, to like 5 grades A to C's, to be able, in especially the important subjects, to be able to become something in life. So I knew I needed that for life. So I did the bare minimum to be able to get that. So I didn't try really hard, but also I wasn't. There was this I don't know. There was like almost a brain block that happened to me when my mum died, where I couldn't. There was something that I couldn't retain too much information. So that was a reason why I didn't do exceptionally well in school. But I wasn't stupid, you know.
No, of course not. But the thing about it, if you're doing bare minimum and you're breaking B's and C's, just imagine if you put some effort.
I always thought that as well. I thought if I put effort, I would have been getting A stars.
You would have smashed it.
Yeah,
you would have absolutely smashed it.
Yeah. So school. So I got went to school. Got average grades at the end of it. Wasn't too fussed really. My nan was actually happy with my grades because she was quite proud of me because I finished off school. Then when I got to college now, that's a different story.
So tell me about college.
So college, I was doing an extended diploma in health and social care, and I had I've met my daughter's father at the time. So I've met him in college, and he had his own house, he had his own place, sort of thing. And I was just like, and again, it was like another opportunity. I can leave this woman. Like, I can finally leave this woman. I've got this opportunity, because at that time, what was happening, I wanted to get a job, but my nan wanted me to go to university. Of course, people want, parents want the best for their children. So she wanted me to go to university. I didn't. I wanted to work. And again, it was like this, you're a villain if you're doing this again. So I'm in this relationship with this guy, and it's all right, but it's moving too quickly. I don't know anything about relationships. Again, I don't have a mum and dad. I have a nan, and my nan's not with my granddad, so I don't really have a representation of what a relationship should look like. But other than that, it's okay. And it was kind of just, I was allowed to move in. I mean, he's a guy, so he would.
And you had at that time you had no real male role models around you.
Not really. Like, I had cousins and stuff, uncles. I had my granddad here and there out of my life, but there wasn't really a constant male role model, to speak to me or anything. So I just decided one day, I was like, I'm leaving. So I left home at 17.
Okay.
I left, and it was fine. I was like, it was actually, my nan wasn't a fan of it, absolutely not. Like, she was going crazy, but for me it was cool. It was cool. Yeah, it was cool. Yeah.
Okay. So
it was cool.
Your relationship?
Relationships. It was okay, and like, especially in the beginning, it was okay. But I got pregnant at 18. Okay. So 18, I'm pregnant. But her dad's really, really supportive. Everything was okay. And then we moved back to, because we was living in East London at the time. I got a flat back in Vauxhall, South London, and then we just had this family. It was really good. It was like, I wouldn't say it's really good. There was issues. There was small issues within the relationship, especially, and there was a lot of stuff. What actually happened is that, because I was my nan's counsellor, I put a lot of what happened with my nan and what I would go through, I would put it on him. So he became my counsellor instead of going professional help.
He became your beating stick.
Yeah. Wouldn't use those words. But he became my counsellor. So I was kind of doing the same thing that was happening to me. I was doing that to him. So that was another issue, because men are different, He's dealing with emotions and stuff. So that was something else as well, where I think that was kind of that. I need professional help, I think, to deal with. I think 100%.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, so moving on from 9, you're 17. I mean, that's a long time without professional help. Yeah. And, you're it's almost like self-medicating. So you're releasing on people, your friends, and your boyfriend, and and it's getting you by, but you've still got that baggage. Still carrying that baggage. But hey, but you're great. You're good now.
Yeah, work in progress.
Work in progress. So, so you moved in, you got pregnant, had a child, and what's next, or what's after?
Things are good, so things are okay. I'm noticing, so we've got this. I've got this family, but something is missing from my life. I've just always kind of felt in that I'm like, okay, I've got the house, I've got the family, and my daughter's father is a good father. But I just felt something's not right.
Okay, let me stop you there. I'm sure you mentioned uni.
University.
Yeah. Well,
so what? Okay, so before I've had my daughter, I've then gone to work in Sainsbury's for a few years, and then I've decided again this whole psychology, because I've always believed that because my mum and my auntie had schizophrenia, just always wanted to go into that field, because I was like,
find out what's about.
Yeah, I want to find out in more depth what's wrong, because I've got this experience of it, like a raw experience of it. So I want to find out more in depth, but then I've always kind of pushed it off because I don't want to touch too much on the subject, because there's trauma there for me. So I've always had this calling. So then I decided, I was like, what, I'm gonna go and study psychology. And my daughter was 3 I think. Yeah, I went and done psychology while I was working, and yeah, so I done that for it. I was doing that for a year. I was doing quite well, actually. I was doing well in it. My nan at the time, she was really happy, because finally my daughter, she's gone to uni for her. She's doing something well with herself. But then I was like, no, this is not it. Like, I had this new idea, because at the time, so at the time of me going to university, I also went down this whole new route of again, it was trying to find that thing where I've said something's missing in my life. So I'm trying to find whatever that thing is that's missing in my life. So clearly, I've gone uni, it's not uni. Okay, I've got a daughter, it's not her, she's not missing. Partner, it's not him, because there's still something missing. So I've gone down this route of I've become vegan. This is it. Gone vegan. This whole eating healthy. And I'm making juices and stuff at home. So I was making it for obviously my daughter, my partner. And he one day said to me, he was like, "You should sell this." And there's alarm bell just went off, and I'm like, this is it. This is what's missing. I'm going to set up, a business in doing what I'm doing, because I've been researching in depth about, the whole, sea moss and what it does for your body, and fruits, and how we should be eating raw, and we shouldn't really be eating meat. I do eat meat now, But I came back to meat, but I was learning about all these things, and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. I can do this. So then, even though I was doing well in uni, I'm like, no, because this is not really filling that void, So I've gone to this. And also I was learning during that whole time, I went through a stage of just learning about Black history. So I was like, wow, this is so interesting. I went to Egypt as well. Okay. And it was all just to do with filling that void, whatever that missing thing is in my life. Yeah. Yeah,
and a lot of people go through that where you feel empty. You're doing everything. I mean, your life is busy.
Yeah.
But when you get home, and you close them doors, you're alone. You feel that emptiness.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
It's we'll come to that. Why that is.
Yeah.
Right. So you've obviously started your own business, juice business. It was going well, I take it went well? Yeah,
so starting off, because I started literally from nothing, because I was working in Sainsbury's. Again, I've dropped out of uni, because it's I can't continue this and do everything else I'm doing. I'm a mum, I'm also supposed to be a girlfriend, and I'm working, and I've got this whole idea. I was like, well, I've got to drop off uni. So uni got dropped off, came out from that. Started this business, found a shop, found everything myself, just drew up everything, how I'm going to design the shop, and obviously because I had my partner there at the time, it was really easy for me to kind of focus on this, because he would, look after my daughter, or I could drop her at my nan's as well. My nan was quite helpful in that sense, so I was able to pretty much set off a shop from nothing. And I did have some financial input from, you know, my granddad as well and my nan, but a lot of it was me. I literally worked hard. You know, I was working literally from night shift, day shift in Sainsbury's, sleeping in my car. Yeah, I did a lot to set up that business because I had this vision, I had this idea, and I wanted to see it. You know, I wanted to see, like, you know, the fruits of my labour, you know, what I've planned out, this vision. And I was able to do that. I set up I called it Rax Real Juice. And yeah, I set it up, had a grand opening. And you know what, during that time, I felt, wow, like I was so proud of myself.
No, it's amazing. It's an amazing feat.
Yeah.
That you still have that sort of like, the way first of all you've got that entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah.
And you still got to get up and go.
Yeah.
You know? So it's good.
Yeah.
You know, from what you've been through, a lot of people have been honestly knocked down and not able to get back up, but you're still functioning, you're still searching.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was really good. I felt, and at the time, obviously, my nan came to the opening, my granddad came, my family, and they were proud of me, and they all got to see that, and I was proud of myself because it was like, wow, I did it. I had this thought, and bear in mind, at the time, I was still going through, you know, this whole spiritual journey in terms of this Black history and law of attraction and a bit of crystals. As much I didn't go in too much into it and all of these things, I was like, wow, I manifested this type of thing. That's where I was at the time. I was like, I manifested this. I thought this in my mind and it came out. This is manifestation.
You did that all.
I did it all, yeah. There wasn't like there was anything from anything above or I wasn't really, I was like, I did this because I thought this in my mind and it happened. And I was like, wow. I was really proud of myself. And in the beginning, it was really challenging because, again, I didn't do any in-depth research on business and what to expect. And it was just an idea and I did it. So I didn't really foresee the challenges that were coming, and there was a lot of challenges in terms of getting, you know, customers and stuff like that, and you know, also where my shop was positioned, you know, not thinking also about footfall, you know, all these important aspects of a business. Sure. I didn't really put that into consideration. So because it was just, I've got this idea, let's do it. Is that cool? Yeah.
It's like old folk will say, your horror come up. But nothing wrong with that, man. You've got to have a vision. You've got to have a vision.
Yeah.
You've got to have a vision.
Yeah.
You had one and you brought it to fruition. So how long did the business last?
So the business lasted over a year.
Okay.
Over a year until, you know, the whole lockdown and this sort of pandemic came. So yeah, it lasted a year, and through the year I was through that whole year of me having my business, I was going through this transitioning from kind of, had this business, but also I was learning a lot about.
So Raquel, so how long did the business last?
So yeah, the business lasted about a year, just over a year. I would say, in total actually it lasted about, say, a year and a half, but the shop itself lasted about a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it stopped because?
So it stopped because of the pandemic. So
Okay.
that was why the shop kind of stopped. So I decided to close it down because I didn't really know what was actually happening in terms of the government, because Boris had done his announcement.
Listen, you were like hundreds and thousands of other businesses out there. It's
exactly,
crazy.
yeah.
I mean, it was crazy. There was,
yeah.
I mean, you know, there's programs that you watch now,
Yeah.
like, and you see how the government operated.
Yeah.
There's a program called This England,
Yeah.
which is about Boris and the whole COVID thing, and it's madness.
Yeah.
So yeah, when you say, well, you didn't know what was going on, neither did the rest of the world, because honestly.
Yeah. So I made that decision to shut down the shop, and I spent lockdown basically with my family, really, my daughter and her dad, and it was good. It was all right. Lockdown was okay. A few issues. You start getting annoyed with each other because we're just stuck with each other 24/7. But
as you do.
Overall, it was all right. It was okay.
Yeah, lockdown was responsible for a lot of relationships.
Shit breakdowns.
And they knew, the government knew this anyway.
Yeah,
They were warned. But, hey.
Yeah.
So lockdown's finished and the world has opened up and...
Yeah. So lockdown's finished, world's woken up. My relationship is basically, we've decided to kind of break up sort of thing. I wouldn't say I'm happy. I wasn't happy with the decision. But yeah, he's decided he's left the house. That was really hard because that was like, it's like that a part of my foundation is being rippled apart. But it's okay. It's still basically in the picture. So it's like a bit of back and forth, but a part is being ripped apart where it feels like, it's like, what's going on? But because of that, I've now turned to like speaking to God more, because it's like, what do I do? Who do I talk to? I don't want to talk to anyone else. So I begin to start talking to God more because of that.
So you obviously lost your mum, and you know, you during your teenage years, and you're happy to get away from your nan, that whole situation, and you've come and you've settled down with this young man, and started a family, and but now that's kind of disintegrating. So I mean, honestly, your coping mechanism, I mean, the way you're coping with all this, I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Just that, it's a lot for a lot of people. It's a lot to go through. And,
it was really hard. I think the breakdown of the relationship that hurt me more than anything. Like that was really difficult. Still really difficult even now. But during that time, it was really difficult. Dealing with, like, it was like a loss. It was a really big loss for me. Yeah, and it was like a lot. You go through a lot of emotions, you know, shame, you know, and blame and stuff like that. And it did go really bad as well. It went really nasty on my part as well. I have to take responsibility. It went really nasty on my part. So I have a lot of responsibility to play in that. But then what kind of distracted me from that big hurt was like a really big blow of that year, 2020, December. My granddad died. And my granddad was like you asked before, you know, having a male figure. I didn't really have a male figure in my life, but he was one of the ones that was kind of in and out.
Sure.
And the thing is, he wasn't someone like a granddad I saw every single day, but he always, every time he was in my life, especially as a child, he made a really big impact where it was like, wow, he was so funny, he was so cool. And not until my later years, in terms of me having my shop and my daughter, that's when he kind of more was in my life. And we built a relationship, and he helped with my shop a lot, buying stuff. And he came to my daughter's first birthday. And I really loved that guy. So when he died, it was like, that was so difficult, because it was like, wow. And it was so sudden as well.
You've suffered a lot of loss from early in your life. I mean, I mean, did it, you know, I'll just ask a question, maybe a silly question. I mean, did it play in your mind? Did you think at any stage, well, what have I done? Why am I losing these people? I mean, you know.
Not with my granddad. With my granddad, I didn't really feel like why. I felt that with my partner when he left the house. But with my granddad, I don't think then it's sitting, why me? It just felt like, I don't understand what's happening type of thing. But it was like, I don't know, I still had a sense of feeling that I can get through this. You know, my nan was still there, and she and my auntie was still there, but it was just my granddad. And because my granddad wasn't someone I saw every day, it was like I could still survive. I still had kind of like this feeling of I'll be all right, sort of thing. So yeah, he passed, and then, you know, within family sometimes, in terms of like wills and finances, there was a lot of issues with his death terms of in the family. Yeah, exactly.
totally normal.
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah. And then, but then what happened when he died? I feel like my nan would like that shield that she had of her, you know, just being that strong woman and not really feeling like she needed a man. And I feel like she really did love my granddad, and she got sick straight after he died. She got really sick in terms of she was already battling breast cancer. The cancer just spread everywhere.
Wow.
And then in the end, they didn't understand what it was until she went hospital. She ended up falling in the bath actually. Then I think my auntie and my brother called the ambulance, and then they ended up finding out that I think the cancer spread, and she ended up going into a care home.
Sorry, so she knew she had cancer before?
Previously, and she was recovering.
Okay.
She was recovering. It was still like she already was going through the chemo process, but I think she was just, at that time, she was pretty much in the sort of near clear. So she was all right. It was,
Sorry.
yeah. So she was okay. She was okay. It was like, yeah, it's just like the recovery, but coming up to the end of the recovery process of the cancer. But then I think the hit of my granddad passing, I don't know if it triggered her or something, and she just got sick. She just ended up dropping in the bath, I think, and they had to end up calling the ambulance for her. And she was young as well. My nan, she was 59 at the time.
Wow.
When that's happened.
Oh my
So yeah, so she's got really ill. She's gone in the hospital for a few weeks, and they've figured out that the cancer has spread.
Wow.
So,
I mean, how did that affect you?
obviously I was going through my own sort of issues unrelated to that. So, and at that moment as well, we still had that friction between me and my nan. But my auntie and my brother, because of how the dynamics of their household was, they wouldn't be able to cope without me. So they needed like someone like me. They needed someone strong there. So as much as I was going through my own stuff, there was a point I had to step in, as even though my auntie would have been the older person, she would have really been the leader, but because of her complications,
Sure.
I had to take that place, and it was hard. So I had to kind of take over. She ended up going into a care home and being abused in the care home. I had to take her out. But although all of this was going on, spiritually I'm getting closer to God. And also, somehow me and my nan made amends through that situation.
That's amazing.
It was a beautiful thing, because my auntie couldn't really cope with what was happening, and they was pretty much taking the mick, you know, the people who was in the care home, the workers, the staff, they were taking the mick, because they not to get too much into that. But I had to take over, and I had to speak up for my nan. But the first day I went in there, I'll never forget it to the day I die. I went into the room, and my nan, it was hard, it was really difficult. And my nan, she couldn't walk or do anything, but she looked at me and she said sorry for everything.
Wow.
And when she said sorry, as much as I knew that the cancer spread everywhere and she weren't herself, I knew in my heart that she meant sorry for everything. And from that day, everything was lifted. And we were like, the staff there was like, you and your nan have this, thank you. They were like, you love your nan so much. You have this amazing relationship with your nan, that you love her, because I was bringing her food every day. I was bringing her good food as well, vegan food. Like, no, you got to eat healthy, because I believed, because I had this God and I was speaking to God, and God was doing a lot for me. A lot. Like financially, I wasn't even working and money was just coming out of nowhere. He was doing a lot for me. And I knew, I was like, she's going to get better. I was playing gospel music for her in the room.
Sure.
I knew that the place was bad, like where she was, the care home, and they wasn't looking after the member, not just my nan, other members, other family members. You'll speak to them because it was COVID, and I'm sure you heard in the news what was happening in care homes with neglect and stuff because during COVID.
It was terrible.
It was really bad, but
terrible.
I managed to get her out of the care home. So I got her out of the care home. Took her home. As much as they told me no, I said nope, she's coming out of here, and there was so much battles, took her out, ended up getting her in carers which come into the home and look after her. Again, it was really difficult, so much arguments between me and my auntie and my brother, and it was a lot of stuff going on, but me and my nan made peace. And
you know what, that's fantastic.
We made peace. We definitely made peace.
You come full circle. I mean, you've got your nan looking after you, and going through all that trauma till you turning around, and she's asked for forgiveness. Or she's actually apologised. And you knew what that was. You knew what that was. It was between you two. And, it's amazing. God works. Why would you just apologise? This is God just working. It's giving you that relief so that you can look after her. You know what I mean? So, it's just blessings, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So it was good. It was good. We made amends. And she didn't get better, unfortunately. She came home, I thought, because I just kept on seeing like this light within her where now she's gonna get better, she's coming back to herself. But I think deep down inside I knew, but I think it was a kind of a coping mechanism. She's gonna get better, we're taking her, and I had to be that positive force for my auntie, and my brother. So I just kept saying, don't worry, don't matter, she's going to be better, just being that strong force. But I think I knew she's not going to get better. And I ended up kind of taking a little break from going to the house, and my auntie and my brother and some other family members were going there. And ended up, I think the day before she died, I had a long 6-hour conversation with my auntie, and I could hear that. I was like, she's not screaming anymore, she's not doing what she normally does on the phone. And my auntie was like, oh, you need to come back and stuff. And I was like, yeah, okay. And I knew that I was like, no, she doesn't sound too good. And then the next morning I get the call that she's passed. So that was hard, because when she passed, my auntie, her daughter, who was looking after her, collapsed and went into a coma for about at the same time. So as much as I had this loss, I then had this whole ordeal with my auntie now in a coma in hospital with COVID. And it was really dark, because it was like, oh my God, I'm going to have 2 deaths. I'm going to have to do 2 that was the thought. And I had to go back to God again. It was like, God, whoa, what's going on here?
You're resolved, man. It's oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know, but I mean, you realise how much you have gone through.
Yeah.
I mean, your nan, your mum.
Yeah.
Your partner leaving you, your granddad.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's 4. That's 4. That's your network. So it's just you and your brother and your aunt. Your aunt's
and the thing is as well, because it was really difficult. It was just me and my brother. He's going through his own emotions.
So how old's your brother?
My brother now he's 23. So at the time he was much younger. So it was about maybe 20, I think, at the time. So 19, 20. My auntie's in hospital. I'm getting a lot of stick from the family. It's like that we need to do the funeral for my nan, but I'm like, I can't do it without my auntie. And she then pulls through anyways. My auntie ends up pulling through,
Lovely.
Getting over the COVID.
How long was she in coma?
She was in a coma a few weeks.
Okay.
If I can remember, a few weeks she was in a coma. I know she was in the hospital for about a month, but I think the coma side of it was 2 weeks. But then she got out of the coma and she was still really poorly. But when she got out of the coma, she told me she went through this whole spiritual ordeal, and she said to me clearly, she was saying to me, she said, Raquel, I feel like she went to heaven. She said she saw my nan, and she said she saw my mum, she saw everyone, and she was like, I was the last to go up, but I believe what she was telling me. It was kind of, I'm gonna go soon, but God has spared me for now. But I kept on telling her, no, you're not. You're gonna be cool. You're gonna be all right. And sadly, a year later, she went, and that was hard. That hit me more than any of the deaths.
Oh, really?
My auntie's death nearly killed me. Yeah.
Wow.
I thought
Oh, wow.
I wasn't gonna make it after
Honestly,
her death.
I'm so sorry. I know it happened years ago, but I honestly, I'm so sorry for your losses.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never heard anything even
Yeah.
close to that. I mean,
It's
wow.
Yeah. Yeah, that was hard. My auntie's death, yeah. I think that was it for me.
Okay. Was it hard? Was it the hardest because she was the last of your support network foundation to go?
Yeah, and it was because I think it was hard with my auntie, because with my auntie, I had a soft spot for her.
Okay.
I had this protective thing about her because I knew she was sick, because she had mental health issues, and I just always had a soft spot for her. She was my mum's obviously younger sister. She was very innocent. She did a lot. We would argue, but I always had this hope that, because my nan was protective over her as well. And I thought, since she's passed now, things can get better. And I had this big hope for my auntie. And yeah, she was kind of the last of the older lot. As much as I was kind of her support system, she was a big support system for me. As in, with the funeral, I was like, I'm not doing it without her, but I was almost leaning on her. As much as she thought she was leaning on me, I was leaning on her in a way, and she was a big part of my foundation. And her dying was just like, why? That's when I think I really went to God, like, why?
Why has all these people been taken away
Why
from you?
are they being taken? What is going on? What is it? And I think her death was a big part in, me coming closer to God, definitely, because it was either that or I don't want to be here anymore. In fact, I got to the point of I didn't want to be here anymore. And what used to happen as well, I did say it in my testimony in church, is that when she died, I went into a dark place to the point where I asked and begged God to take me, that I don't want to be here anymore. And I actually didn't want to be here at all.
That is pain.
Every night I used to ask God, to say to God, take me. But then what used to happen every morning, and why I believe in the scripture that it says joy comes in the morning, is because every morning I would get joy and I didn't want it. This joy used to come to me, and it's like I used to wake up with this happiness, and it was like, why am I feeling happy when my life has fallen completely apart? And I believe in that scripture. I really do believe in that scripture, and I believe that scripture is true, because it happened to me when things was so bad. It was so bad, Omar. There was no good, but joy was coming in the morning for me.
Listen, God ain't going to just leave you out there hanging.
Yeah.
He's not just going to beat you up in the sort of stomach. You know what I mean?
He helps you in your time of need. He's close.
He's not going to give you more than you can handle.
Exactly.
Straight.
Yeah.
You're a strong, resilient woman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You've gone through, oh my word. people, like other people, they're just falling over and just giving up the ghost. You know what I mean? It's just, honestly, you're absolutely, you're an amazing person. Honestly, really, really are. I mean, you've gone through a lot. So, I mean, I still can't believe you haven't had counselling, or have you had counselling?
I haven't had counselling, but I've come to especially for 2024, so that's kind of my New Year's thing that I want to do.
Okay.
I defo want to do counselling. I feel like I'm ready to speak and to find ways of different coping mechanisms for dealing with different parts of, I think, the effects of my trauma has had on my life. So I definitely want to do some counselling. I think that's something I want to do in 2024. I have reached out in terms of the NHS, but they had, it was difficult getting space. But I think definitely 2024, I've set out to kind of really heal, really speak about, talk about what I've been through, and, you know, try and heal more. I did actually reach out to my daughter's school because I knew what happened to me with the trauma. I'm an adult, but my daughter's seeing all of this as well. She's also lost her foundation because, you know, she was looked after by my auntie and my nan. So I did reach out to her school and asked for counselling for her, so she can actually be able to speak out, because it doesn't seem like it's affected her in any way, but it might have. I didn't seem like I was affected, and I was.
Sure.
So I just I did reach out for her to have some talking therapy.
That's good. No,
So,
you know, it's no harm. It only do her good, and if she's been through that, as you said, you can't see it.
Yeah.
She has been affected. You don't know how much her, but she has been affected.
Yeah.
Just like yourself. I mean, you know, like I said, honestly, I still can't get over what you've been through.
Yeah.
It's tremendous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm lost for words. It's a lot. It's a lot, and you know, I mean, if anybody saw you just walking down the road, they'll just think, well, you know, you've not got a care in the world, but you've gone through a lot, and you know, I'm really grateful that you was able to basically come and tell your story. Yeah. I hope you know, whoever's watching this, they get some sort of joy, satisfaction. Yeah. That, well, basically they can go through stuff like this. So if you know, if they're having bereavements, I mean, you've had 4, 5. Yeah. 5. 1, 3. 4 bereavements, and when your partner left.
Yeah, one loss. So
you've had abandonment, and you suffered losses, and you know, there's people out there whose relationships break down. I mean, you're a testament. You can still carry on. You know. Yeah. And you've lost some key members of your family. Yeah. You're still here. So I hope that this, as I said, whoever's watching this, they can get something from it.
Yeah, I think it's understanding as well. You know, you can get up, you can get back up. You can always get back up, no matter how hard it gets. You can get back up, and like, not just understanding that difficult times will come, and you can definitely get over those difficult times. There's always going to be a light at the end of the tunnel. As cliche as it sounds, there is light always at the end of the tunnel, and there's always someone also going through something worse. That's what I've noticed. It's like, and it's not to downplay what I've been through, but there's always someone that's going through something so much more worse than what you are.
I've always said that.
And there's a purpose behind what you're going through. It's for you to be able to speak about it and for you to uplift someone when they're down. So from going through all of this, now when I speak to my friends or people that are going through, I just give them light, and they're shocked by it. But I wouldn't be able to give them that light if I didn't go through such darkness.
Absolutely.
You know, so it is possible, and God, I think I have to speak about God. I can't pretend like God. The thing is with God, it doesn't mean because you come to God now life's going to be perfect. It doesn't, but it means that you have this rock, that this thing, this like person almost you can always go to So whenever you have issues, like you're gonna go through trials, and you're gonna even now. I'm still going through trials. I'm still a work in progress.
Sure.
But I understand, and I've come to the conclusion that God is that person that will consistently be with me and hold my hand through those trials.
Absolutely.
If I put my dependency fully on Him and not on myself. Because if I put it on myself, I'm gonna fall apart, or someone else. But if I put it on God, He's gonna bring me through, and He will bring it's not just me. It's God is accessible for everyone, and He can do the same. If He can do it for me, He can do it for anyone. So I just give God the glory, to be honest, for why I'm still here, because I know I couldn't be here by myself. You know, I could have went to drugs. I could have went to the bottle. I could have lost my daughter as well. Really, there's so much could have happened, but I'm still standing.
You're still standing.
I'm still here.
Hallelujah to that, you know what I mean?
So yeah,
Great.
just got to keep going.
Oh, listen, thank you. It's been amazing hearing your story, and you actually agreeing to come and talk on the channel.
Yeah.
I'm just blessed by it, and I hope others are. So I suppose in this episode we've touched on a lot, mental illness, like abandonment, bereavement. So look, if there's anyone out there who's actually suffered any of these, look, first thing, get in contact with your doctor. Yeah, let them refer you so you can get some counselling, or you can get some bereavement support, or just Google search, go online, so I need a counsellor, I need help. Anything. There's also the Samaritans out there. Just reach out for help, and get the help you need, and it will be better for you, and the world will be a better place. Anyway, so listen, thank you all. Thanks for listening. This is Omar. Shout your blessings